All right, welcome back everyone to AJC and the Web Devs special edition co-stream with longtime returning guest Nick Taylor. If you're coming in from Nick Taylor's stream, welcome in. If you're coming in from my stream, you probably already know who he is. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself anyway, Nick?
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. My name's Nick Taylor. I'm currently a developer advocate at a company called Pomerium. We're a really good solution for securing your internal apps. And aside from that, known Anthony for quite a while through open source and just hanging at conferences. So thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you and Dev are in the running for most long time returning guests, and Dev just stayed at my house actually the other night. He showed up
Oh,
at
no
5
way.
a.m. because he got caught up in some stupid visa stuff. He was not allowed to fly apparently, and he was like, "Anthony, I'm stuck in Indianapolis. Help!"
Oh, no way. Yeah, I know he was talking about it because he switched roles. And yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. So we were kicking it just the other day.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's right. I forgot you're both in the same town, right? Or not necessarily like
We're
literal same
close.
town. Close
Yeah,
enough.
I forget. I think he's in Wichita now. He's
Okay.
he used to be in Cincinnati, but the whole Midwest kind of area that most of the big cities are just within a couple hours of each other.
Yeah, no, totally. No, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at today?
Well, let's talk about what you've been doing at Premiere, and before we kind of get into it, you've been doing a lot of content. You've been doing a ton of streaming. You just streamed earlier today, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've been traveling a lot. But yeah, basically I started at Pomerium. So I guess to go back a bit, so I was working at a company called Open Source prior to Pomerium, and Open Source was like GitHub Insights on steroids. It's amazing working there. One of the best teams I've ever worked with. We got acquired by the Linux Foundation, which was awesome. Unfortunately, most of the engineering team didn't go along for that ride during the acquisition. I was a little bummed initially, but honestly, it was nice being off for 2.5 months. And then when I was looking for new roles, because I've been like an app developer pretty much my entire career, but people, including yourself, always assume that I've been just a DevRel.
Yeah.
And it's just I kind of just unintentionally baked it into my role as an engineer, I guess. And so this time around, when I was looking for a new role, I was talking with some people, including like Angie Jones. I was like, "Hey, what do you think? Is it a good idea if I go into DevRel?" And she's like, "Yeah, for sure. Like with the engineering background, and you're already doing a lot of this stuff, just go for it." So had an opportunity to work at Pomerium, and I decided to, do the Nestea plunge, if people know what that commercial is, and just kind of go for it. And yeah, hit the ground running. Started off with putting out a bit of content, some video shorts, but then shortly after that, kind of went on a whirlwind tour of conferences. I was like at All Things Open AI, then I was at SRE Day London and London, England, not Canada for people in Ontario. And then was at KubeCon EU, and then came back, and then I was in San Francisco and Redmond for 2 other SRE days, giving the same talk. So yeah, lots been going on. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on. We had a 29 release that was like pretty much during KubeCon. And now we, everybody's probably heard of MCP, Model Context Protocol. So we're able to secure Model Context Protocol servers with zero trust security, which is what we're based off of. So that's pretty fresh, as Thor would say. So lots going on.
The last stream I did with Dev, speaking of, was on MCP. We did a kind of introductory tutorial that I had built for just to kind of figure out what it is, how to work with it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I learned a bunch, even though I built the tutorial. And,
Yeah.
What'd you say about 29? What was that?
We had a release, a Pomerium release. So version 0.29.0.
Okay, gotcha.
And yeah, I can link to that if people want. But
So,
but
out
yeah,
of all those conferences that you went to, which one was like the most memorable?
I'd say, they're all great, but like the SRE days were like smaller ones, so it was a little more
Mhm.
intimate. I got to meet Daniel Alfonso, who's on the Solid.js core team, which is kind of cool because we've been following each other for a while, our mutuals and socials and stuff. But
That's funny. He
I
has literally the exact same name, word for word, letter for letter, as my choir teacher when I was in school. And yeah, I bet he has to correct people a lot 'cause they probably say Alfonso and it's Afonso, right?
Yeah, well, when I wrote his name, like when I was posting pictures and stuff, it kept auto correcting to
Mhm.
Alfonso. It's like no.
Yeah. Is he Brazilian?
Um, oh, that's a good question. I could have sworn he said he. I'm not gonna say anything. I feel like he said he was Argentinian, but I'm not sure. I
Okay.
don't remember.
That would make sense. That's a similar part of the world because
Yeah,
my teacher Afonso was from Brazil.
but he's in Portugal, so like no, I can't remember. No, I'm mixing him up with somebody else. Sorry. No, he lives in Portugal, so I think he is
Okay.
Portuguese. Like I don't think he moved there. I think he is Portuguese.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm mixing it up with somebody else I met at the conference who I got intro to through somebody I used to work with at dev.to. But
Gotcha.
so
Yeah, you're a busy
anyways,
man. You meet a lot of people.
but in terms of like the conferences, like I really enjoyed All Things Open AI. One, because it was just cool to go to the inaugural All Things Open AI and be able to give a talk. Um, I give a talk. It's a talk I'm giving a bunch of times this year, but creating Copilot extensions,
Mhm.
not VS Code extensions, because every time I put that into like a Chat GPT or Claude, it always assumes VS Code
Sure.
extensions.
Yeah.
But um,
That just
no,
reminded
that.
me another thing you did, which I thought was super cool. Virtual coffee conf.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. So I gave that same talk on the GitHub Copilot extension there. That was a fun conference because I've been part of Virtual Coffee literally since the beginning. So like
Mhm.
Becca Harrod-Wagle, who's my good friend, she's the one that started that. Um, it just started off with a DM where she said like, "Hey, if anybody wants to join a virtual coffee," like this was like 2020 in April. Um, and I just responded to the DM, "Hey, yeah, I'd like to join." And now everything's more automated. It's not DMs with Zoom links, but that was just pretty cool to see that all
Yeah,
come
I think this is
together.
the link here. You guys did it with CFE Dev as like a collab, I think.
Yeah. My friend, well, Brian as well, Brian
Yeah, I work with
Rinaldi.
them at Steps End.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Yeah. You, Lucia, and Roy Dirks actually, who's at IBM
Yeah.
now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we all go way back.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. But yeah, I really enjoyed the All Things Open AI conference, and I really like KubeCon EU because one, it was my first KubeCon, and I just
I bet
got
that
to
was
meet a.
massive. That's
Yeah, it
probably like
was like.
tens of thousands of people go to that conf, I bet.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was at least 10,000 people. Um, I really enjoyed that one because I got
What
to meet
fuzzy.
my coworkers for the full first time. Hey, what's up, Fuzzy? Aside from that, I also got to hang out with B Dougie again, my buddy
Nice.
and old CEO from Open Source, which was fun. And yeah, I also just met a bunch of people like I saw Daniel there as well again, Alfonso, because PagerDuty was there. Hey, thanks for the kind words, Fuzzy. Yeah, meeting B Dougie, I got to meet a bunch of people I've only met like once, like Marino Weje, who's over at Kong, I think it is. Got to meet Ian Coldwater. That was cool, just chatting. And I'm brand new to Kubernetes, to be honest. Like my experience with Kubernetes prior to KubeCon was like just restarting pods as a front end dev.
Yeah,
So
I've managed to avoid Kubernetes up to this point in my life.
yeah, so I have to ramp up on it because well, one, I want to ramp up on it, but we secure Kubernetes as well. So I basically have to. I got a mini PC, which is what I was streaming about this morning, and basically I'm going to put a Kubernetes cluster on there, secure that. So
Fuzzy wants to know how's the Linux life.
yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's just like I was mentioning this on stream. It's not like I don't know the command line. It's just I'm an application developer that's all of a sudden in SRE/platform engineering/infra security land. So there's just a lot of stuff I need to learn, and I'm confident I'll learn what I need to learn, but there's just a lot of like Linux commands that aren't muscle memory for me right now, so it's just like, okay, look this up, or chat GPT, how do I do this thing, but that'll come, but I'm excited about it all, and it's like I purposely switched out of front end. Nothing against front end. I think it's great. I'm good at it, but I wanted to try other things. So, so it's pretty cool. And the other, honestly, like icing on the cake at the end of KubeCon was I ended up on the Kubernetes podcast live stream. Just happened to, I know one of the DevRel there, but I was just saying hello to people, and I saw him, Abdel, and I was just like, hey, just wanted to say hey. And he's like, oh, how's your KubeCon going? And I was like, oh, it's going pretty good. It's my first one. He's like, what? You got to come on the live stream. So my last day there, I got to go on the live stream, which was pretty cool. So like, going from not being in the Kubernetes community to all of a sudden I'm on the Kubernetes podcast. It wasn't for like a long time. We chatted for like maybe 3-4 minutes, but it's still pretty cool, man.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember back when I was first getting into tech and I was trying to find all the podcasts out there. The Kubernetes podcast was one of them because it's been around for a really long time. And I would listen to it, and like I didn't even know what a container was, so just completely incomprehensible to me.
No, totally. So, yeah, so lots going on, but it's pretty cool. What about yourself, though? We go way back, but we haven't chatted in like probably like a month or two, maybe. So
yeah, no, it's let's see, what are the main things I got going? So I got the AutoShow Dash funding finally kicked in, which is nice. So I've been I put in a proposal. Dash it's a cryptocurrency. They have a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, and anyone can submit a proposal to get funding from the Dash community. And I've had a good friend there, Ryan, who I've been connected with since I worked at QuickNode. And I really, really appreciate him and the way he approaches the whole Web3 world. It's like as far from like the grift as you can get. He really takes it seriously. And Dash has a lot of integrity as like a community. So as I kind of moved away from the Web3 world, it was the one kind of connection to that world that I kind of kept because I felt was really worthwhile. And he hit me up, maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. And he was like, hey, I see you're like building this new, AI tool. And I think that you should try and get funding from Dash to build like a Dash integration, like a crypto payment version, basically. So that if people want to use AutoShow, there will be a way to pay with credit card and, just Stripe and all that kind of stuff. But if people want to pay with cryptocurrency, he's like, you should build that in and you can get some funding from Dash to do that. So
okay, cool.
I put in the proposal, and the first month it didn't pass. So the way it works is you put in a proposal, and then like the collective community basically votes on what gets funded and what doesn't. And then there's a certain amount of money put aside by the treasury each month to pay out. So the first time it didn't go through, and I was like, it's kind of a bummer, but it was really close. It was like 8 votes away. It was like right on the cusp. So I kind of stuck with it. I kept working on the integration. And then last month, the funding actually went through. So
nice.
It's not a ton, but it's like $2,000 a month. And if it continues to get funded, it'll pay out over 6 months. So it'll be like over 10 grand if it ends up getting funded every month. So that's really good because it allows me to spend a little more time just working on that and not needing to spend so much time on like, freelance stuff and, extra blogs and even like, Uber Eats I do every now and then if like money is really tight. So and then I'm doing a couple job interviews. I'm not going to say where because they're still kind of in the mix, but there's 2 places, one of which I've already gone through essentially the whole interviewing round. And I'm just kind of waiting to hear back. And then one that I may start a round of interviews with soon, both of which are companies that I think are very cool and that I would very much enjoy working for. So those are in the back burner. And, that would then allow me to really not need to worry about, money at all. And I'll be able to kind of really slow roll auto show.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I'm still planning on getting it launched as soon as possible. It's pretty dang close to actually being ready for prime time. But
No, that's awesome.
last thing that is actually it was super fun. I have a buddy. He's been my buddy since college. He was the drummer in my band. His name is Eric Edwards. And I'm trying to get him on the stream to talk about this. Actually, we're gonna
Okay.
create a TV show.
Oh, no way.
So he has been just writing this script, and like he's not someone who's ever done this before. So he just like hit me up, like a month ago, and he was asking me for recommendations on coming of age films.
Okay.
I thought he was asking because he was like had like a cousin he wants to like show a movie to or something. So I was like giving him recommendations, and I'm like, why do you need like coming of it? Because he knows that I watched a ton of movies. I've always been like a huge movie fan. So
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that when people are looking for recommendations, I'm one of the people they go to. And
Okay.
he's like, no, I'm writing a script. And I'm like, really? And so basically he has a very interesting job. His parents, they're in the Central Valley, California, and they run a company where they like sell like used farming machinery equipment. And
Okay.
like they're pretty big time. Like they do a lot of work and they're like really experts in their field. And so he's been working for his dad's company, and it's like the family company. It's like his mom and his dad, they do it together. All of his brothers work for the company too.
Okay.
And he basically created this show as like a sci-fi version of his family's company. So
Okay.
it's like there's a crew, and each of the crew members are kind of based on, his family members. And it's just a way for him to kind of like blow off some steam because there's like things about the job that he finds kind of frustrating or whatever. But he
Okay.
still loves it and he does it. And so this is kind of a way for him to like process it, I think. And
Okay.
so he was, telling me about this, and he was saying like maybe he would want to actually like try and, produce it at some point with like some AI tech, because we both watched the show Neural Viz, which is a
Okay.
sci-fi show that's done entirely with AI tech, and it's fantastic. It's not like AI slop. It's really well written and it's really
Okay.
well produced. So I was just like, hey, like I know a lot about this AI stuff now, and I could kind of help you do this. And
Yeah.
so he was like, do not go to the thereof. You're gonna have to explain that one, Fuzzy. Oh, do not go to therapy. Oh,
Okay.
men do to not go to therapy.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I think producing, I think creating artistic content is actually a much better way to process your feelings than therapy. But that's just my own opinion. I would never tell anyone not to go to therapy, but I would say there are ways to work out your feelings. There's plenty of ways to work out your feelings. There's no one right way to do it. But
Yeah.
so yeah, so we're kind of doing that, and that's gotten me
Okay.
into it got me into the parts of the AI space that I had not done yet, which is
Okay.
things like text to speech for voices and video,
Okay.
like, moving animation and stuff like that. And, have you worked at all with any of the AI video stuff?
I did I did a couple things in Sora. So
Okay.
like I actually generated do I
Did it
have
work for
it?
you? Sora didn't work for me at all. The stuff it generated was like total crap.
Yeah, it worked. Hold on, let me find it. I'll put it in the chat, but it's I thought it like I did 2 tries on it, but I don't have it public, but I don't have a post on it. Sorry. Because I know you can make them public.
Mhm.
I'll just share the link. Where is it?
Yeah, I got access to Sora a couple months ago, and I think it first became like actually public. So it was in beta for like or not beta, it was in like closed beta for like a year, and people were
Okay.
tweeting about it and saying how amazing Sora was. Like, but you can't use it. It's just amazing. Trust us.
Oh yeah.
and then it finally came out, and I used it. Everything it generated for me, it was just total crap. So I
Yeah.
tried out Runway and Cling also.
Okay.
We're kind of decent. Um,
Yeah. If you load that up, if you want to show it real quick. So this is I can.
can you drop it in the private chat so I can copy paste it?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Copy pasta. So this is a 5-second video because the Sora videos, at least on the tier I'm on, are only 5 seconds max.
Uh-huh.
But that thing there is literally just my profile photo, like on my if you go to the my profile on X, like that photo,
Yeah.
I gave it that, and I basically
Mhm.
just said I described, like make me rapping, but it's like a play on API wrapper, because but I was pretty impressed that it actually generated it very well. There was a couple weird ones where it made my legs super short, like my body was like 90% of my upper torso was 90% of my body, and the legs were like this. But I finally got one working, and there's a couple variations, but I haven't done like deep video stuff. I've just been messing around with stuff. Like I did a image generation, so not video, but of Garfield.
Yeah.
Just
so here's one that I generated from his show. So it's them like sitting down eating. And
okay.
there's so that was like the first kind of one I tried to create. But something else I did, which I think is pretty cool, we decided that a kind of good stopgap that we could do before we figured out all like the voices and the animation and stuff like that is I basically took his script and I turned it into a comic book. So we created kind of character designs, and he already has like a full written script, like 4 episodes. He's put like a lot of work into this. So we sat down, we figured out the character images that we wanted for all of it. And I was like, I could just turn this into like a comic book. And so it's kind of like storyboarding to the nth degree, because we can, once we have kind of the video and audio stuff in place, we can just make these move and just remove the speech bubbles. So
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, so you can see it's kind of like sci-fi.
It looks pretty good though.
Yeah, and it's like you see here, has a little bit of slop in the text here, but for the most part, it can spell words correctly, which you could not have done this before we had this version of the ChatGPT, because the old one couldn't do text at all. So hopefully Eric's cool with me sharing that, but. So if people watch this, it's probably not a big deal. Eric actually watches my streams. I just found out.
Yeah, it's no, that's cool though, man. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that turns out. Yeah, it's like, I guess like it's trained off of other cartoons, obviously, but like it doesn't look like Simpsons, and it does, like, I feel like there's like a hint of Simpson or Futurama-ish tones,
and
but it's
a little
not
like Adult Swim type shows. That's kind of what it reminded me of the most.
Yeah, but it's not like, looking at it, I wouldn't say like that's Adult Swim or that's Futurama. It's not the same, so
yeah.
But
yeah, the way we first started is I basically took his script and I just asked it to create character designs. We started off with just 2 characters, and I just said, create me a couple different, versions of this based on the script. And so it spat out like 3 different versions, some which were more photorealistic, some which were more cartoony. And the one that had that style we were just looking at, that was the one that we both kind of liked. We were like, okay, we could do this. I also thought that if it's kind of a more cartoony look, the things like lip syncing will be a bit easier, because the lip sync tech has actually gotten pretty good these days. But I just feel like if it's not like a photorealistic character and it's just like a cartoon character, it shouldn't be very hard for it to be able to sync the lips and basically look like an actual animated thing and not like an AI generated thing. So that's kind of my hypothesis that we're working with right now.
Oh, that's cool, man. And I guess you could always get transcriptions with AutoShow for it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there's already a script, so that's
yeah. So re-scripted. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my terrible segue to talk about AutoShow.
Yeah. No. So you're using the CLI, which is very cool. So you should we talked about this beforehand, but you should explain your use case, and then we can kind of dive in to the code if you're cool. Once we get to their screen sharing, then we're basically, I want to walk through a PR with you, because you opened an issue in the AutoShow repo, which is very useful. But I have split up the CLI from the front end back end repo. So there's now 2 repos, because I found that the code base was getting too unwieldy the way it was. And I wanted originally to keep them the same because they were working off of the same shared logic. And I didn't want to have to always build a feature twice if I wanted it in the CLI versus the back end. But I eventually decided that it just made a lot more sense to keep them separate. And it's allowed me to move much, much quicker with the actual app. So it's
Yeah.
definitely been worth it. But yeah, so talk about what you're doing with it, because you're using it for your job, which is like really cool.
Yeah.
Because I really want people to get utility out of this. So if they're using it for their actual work, that shows
Yeah.
that I'm on like the right track here.
So I'll just share my screen for
Sure.
now. Cool. Audio, sure. Okay, let's do entire screen. Cool. I'll let you just bring that in. Okay, that's Garfield. That was just image generation I made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to, whoops, wrong window here. So if we go to like YouTube, like for Pomarium, so this is my use case. So I have these interviews I do with people. So like, for example, I did one with my old coworker John, who at the time was like doing AI stuff over at the Linux Foundation.
He just got a new job, I think.
Yeah, he started at, it's called Zuplo, I believe. They're like I can't remember what they do. I got to check that. But like I have all these interviews, and so like the whole point of these interviews is it's not to promote Pomarium. It's not like a, okay, thanks for telling me about your project. Now let's, wire up Pomarium. That's not the point of these at all. It's really just
That's what I used to do at StepZen. We would bring out people in interview, and they're like, "Now let's integrate with StepZen."
So like there's obviously content I'll do on our YouTube, like the shorts and stuff about like Pomarium, and like there'll be guides and other videos. But the interviews are really more like I'm just trying to build up community content that, like, even if you're not using Pomarium, that's fine. It's just want to speak to people in the industry, and potentially more related to like the space I'm in. So like I'm probably not going to have somebody on talking about like Astra or TanStack because it's not really infra platform. But anyways, so I have guests on, and they're like, the interviews are like an hour and 15 minutes. And like typically what I do, and I would even do this with my own streams prior to AutoShow, was like I'd be like, okay, now let me go play the video. I'm going to watch through it. If I'm live streaming on Twitch, I would put markers to go like, okay, this is a good spot to, do a short or like grab a clip. But with work, we're only streaming to LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. So like one, I can't, well, maybe you can do that in YouTube, but the whole point is it's like I do the interview, and then I'm like, I put a short out that would probably roll out.
Fuzzy's also saying you should have him on the show.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely have you on, Fuzzy. But like the point is, like, once the video's gone out, a couple weeks later, I'll just have a like, hey, if you missed the live stream with John, here's like a short, and I would literally go through the whole video to try and find like where's a good spot. And that's time consuming. So what I ended up doing, and we'll look at this once we pull up AutoShow, but like AutoShow, essentially, like I just pass it the URL of my video. It downloads it, pulls out the audio. I'm not leveraging any of that right now. What I leverage is it generates a transcript, and the flow I do, which can probably be automated, is I grab the transcript, then I paste it into Claude or ChatGPT, and I say, like, here's a great conversation I had with somebody. Can you pull out 60 seconds max, a piece in here that is like compelling? And it's been pretty bang on so far. And what I do is like, it's not so much to get the transcript, it's to know the timestamp at that point. And then I get the timestamp, and then I load it up into my video editor, and then I just go like, okay, crop to there, and then I edit it to make it a YouTube short, or like for other socials. But that's kind of how I'm leveraging it. That's really valuable to me right now, and it saves me a lot of time. So one, I think it'd be interesting maybe to have something in the CLI to say like, it could either be like generate transcript clips from those, like not just 1 60-second, maybe there's multiple. But it could also be interesting to actually cut the video too. Maybe that's like more like a stretch goal, maybe. But
so I already have a script. It's not built into the CLI, but it's a file that's in the project already called Create Clips that does do that. It won't work perfectly for what you're doing because it's based more on like the chapter flow. But
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, and it's really great because it's right in line with why I built it. Because the first reason I built it is because I wanted to get chapter
Yeah.
titles, which also relies on the timestamps. So as you're saying,
Yeah.
the fact that the transcript includes the timestamps lets you do a lot of cool stuff in terms of like pinpointing specific things that happen within the video. And so what you're also saying is basically what you're doing is you're using kind of the first half of the workflow in terms of the transcription part. And then
Yeah.
you're not leveraging any of the prompts or the LLM part because you are using your own custom prompt. So what
Yeah.
we'll be able to do is we just have to make a new prompt. I think what we're going to call it, we can call it key moments, I think would be a good
Yeah. Oh,
term.
that sounds good. That is
Yeah,
sound good.
yeah. So because there's one called key takeaways, but key moments will be like we can just have it do the top three key
Yeah.
moments within the script, and then it can pull out and then include quotes. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think this is totally we can do this within the span of just this stream.
Yeah, and you could go even further with it. I'm already scope creeping, but you could say like you could either pass a parameter for like I don't know, say for a short, or you can pass a time parameter too. So like 60
Mhm.
seconds max, because that's the max you can actually upload to Blue Sky, for example.
Mhm.
YouTube's lax on that now. I think you can go up to 3 minutes with a
3 minutes,
short now,
yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
but passing a max time could be interesting to you. And but yeah, no, I think that's cool.
Also, you'd want to put a spinner in. That was what
Oh
originally
yeah,
why I
yeah, yeah,
scheduled this, because you had
yeah,
opened up a PR to add a spinner. So I don't know if you
yes.
want to do that at all. We could see how far
That
we
should
get.
be
You know.
pretty quick. Like for
Yeah.
context, so like I've done a couple streams with Anthony about AutoShow, but it's typically been him demoing, or I think he got me to walk through something at one point.
Yeah. A
But
long
I
time
was
ago, like
like,
a year ago. Yeah.
yeah. And then so like when I started the new job, I was like, oh, let me see if I can actually leverage this.
Hmm.
And then I'm doing something. I forget what it was I was doing, but it looked like nothing was happening. I thought it was frozen. So like
Hmm.
that's why I suggested the spinner. Just for a bit of CLI UX, So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Why don't we start with that actually?
cool. Yeah. Okay. So I know you mentioned I can go ahead and present again here.
Yeah.
So you've got a new repo, you said,
Yeah.
right?
So instead of AutoShow, it's just AutoShow dash CLI.
Okay. So auto show. I have it in my hit history. It's just always auto show AGC web dev.
Yeah. That's
Um,
great.
sorry, and you said it was dash what?
Just add dash CLI to the
Okay,
end.
cool. Give it a mandatory star. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Hell
And
yeah.
I'm a big fan of the GitHub CLI, so I'm gonna clone it that
Dude,
way.
me too. I'm all about
It's
it.
I do this. I have this newsletter, onetipaweek.com, and I was like, should I put a tip about that? And I think I'm going to later on, like, because I already have some queued up. But like, like in general, whenever you share, like, oh, this is my workflow or whatever, it's like anytime I talk with somebody about their workflow, it's like, oh, I didn't know about that tool, or oh, I didn't know you could do that with that tool. So I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
post it, even though like it's a very obvious one to me. But
Mhm.
like I said,
No, that's
I
a good
keep
one. I mean, that's why I do these streams is because I learned so much from people.
yeah, no, it's great. It's like, all right, cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clone this. I'm using Windsurf.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
ask. I'm like, this doesn't look like VS Code, but it doesn't look like Cursor either. I've not
yeah,
used Windsurf at all, actually. How's it been?
it's pretty good. I was using Cursor a lot before that, and Cursor
Hmm.
is definitely amazing too. I'm just kind of like literally just trying different tools. VS Code is a
Way
lot
to
better
go.
now
Yeah.
too with
Mhm.
Copilot. They have an agent mode now, so like I think it's a good thing that a lot of people are just competing. Cursor got really amazing. That kind of forced the hand on maybe GitHub was already working on these things, but or Microsoft, but like VS Code's come out with agent mode now, which is really solid.
Mhm.
And I think it's just gonna push each of these different editors to just keep doing better, basically.
Yeah.
So all right, cool. I just restarted my Windsurf. There we go.
Great.
Cool. I don't want to view the changelog. Okay, so let's just open up this windsurf -r, and what was it? Auto show. CLI. Cool.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
something that will help. Just go to the .github folder and the setup script.
Okay.
I'm just gonna have you comment out the v3. So scroll down to where the Whisper stuff is.
Okay.
This will just help us do the setup faster. So comment out large v3 turbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Now go ahead and you can run the just npm run setup. Should be all we need to do.
All right. Oh wait, I got in. Does this do npm install as well? I can't remember.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the setup is a bash script, so you don't need your dependencies already installed to do it.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So that's going on. So I guess talk us through what's being installed here again. Like there's obviously some tools, but like Whisper CPP for people who aren't aware of that. What is that exactly?
Yeah, so Whisper is OpenAI's open source transcription model. The official package that they put out is a Python library, and there's a community run C++ version of it, which speeds it up a lot. So that is what Whisper CPP is. Whisper C++ is the same guy who runs Llama CPP, which is like the underlying infrastructure behind things like Ollama, which you know a lot about now. And so it does that. It also includes things like FFmpeg and just CMake, which is a dependency that Whisper CPP relies on. But it doesn't have a whole lot of other stuff. I used to have Ollama built into this, but I eventually took that out because I decided that the open source models just weren't adding a whole lot. And you know, I feel like the type of person who's going to want to use that can probably figure it out themselves. And really the value most people get from this is by hooking in like actual, you know, like ChatGPT models and Claude models. You know, I mean, you know how to use open source models, but I'm sure you know that they really just aren't that good, and the ones that are kind of good can't fit on the average dev's machine. You know, they can't run a 405 billion parameter model. So even the best open source models are just not feasible to use. So I just decided that we're not really there yet in terms of local models. So I put so much work and time and effort into making those work. And then I just realized that like, it just wasn't worth it, you know? So I kind of moved away from doing that. So there's no Ollama integration in here anymore. But, you know, I think that no one's really, so far, no one has complained about that. So yeah.
No. Yeah, gotcha. I opened this. I don't know if this is what we should be looking at, but like I've typically been using the npm run as. That's what I was doing before.
Yeah, the only reason why I put these are just some nice aliases. Mostly I just use this because I always want to use the large v3 one. And so I just do npm run like v3, and then I can go straight to using the video flag with the large Whisper v3. For the most part, though, if you're just kind of using this for your own stuff, you'll want to use the npm run as, which is like an alias for AutoShow.
Yeah. So this is the CLI now. So I'm assuming you can obviously compile this to a CLI as well, or is it meant?
What do you mean compile to a CLI?
I guess what I mean is like if I'm leveraging AutoShow, do I still keep using it as just npm run as, or is there like an actual AutoShow -CLI like binary?
So it's not. Yeah, so it's not like it's not published to npm. It's not. There was a point where I got it to where you could use it as like a Docker container, but that has kind of gone to the wayside because I was working more on the Docker integration for the front end and back end. So right now, it's basically what you see is what you get. You clone down the repo, you run the setup command, and then you can use it. So I may at some point want to get it published on npm. That was kind of a goal when I first started building this. But I've put so much work into the CLI, and it's like, honestly, I've put too much work into it. I need to put more work into the actual front end back end because that's what's going to be the product I'm going to sell. So there's a whole bunch of stuff I could do in terms of the CLI to make it way doper. But it's just, I just don't really have the time right now.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Totally valid. I open up, this is obviously in the old repo, but this is the issue I created. So I forget
what. And you saw, I left a comment saying that I was going to extract out the CLI. So that is now done. So yeah, I would say we can just we'll leave that issue open for now, and then we can close it and point to the CLI once we have it actually done. So
you can also
real quick.
yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
I was gonna say if you wanted to, you can transfer it to your other. Actually, I don't know if that only works in orgs. I'm not sure if you can do that between projects for your own. Fuzzy says, "Keep up the great work."
About that.
Yeah.
Let's not worry
No
about that
biggie.
yet. I was just curious. What are you using for the spinner? Is this a built-in thing for Node, or is this a dependency? Like, how does this work?
It was a package. I think it was called Aura Spinner for Node CLI. Is that it? Yeah,
and this is
that's
not
what it
going to
was.
be a dependency I'm going to regret adding at some point.
I don't know. Like, I mean, the thing is, like, maybe Commander
30 million downloads. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, this is what I grabbed. So this is what I was gonna suggest. Like, obviously, if you had a preference.
Solid. Oh, it's Syndra.
Yeah, it's Syndra. Yeah,
so he's the one dude that anytime I need to add a dependency, if he has something, I already have some of his dependencies in my project, like file type. Yeah. I always feel comfortable adding his stuff in because I know he actually maintains them and he knows how to keep them up to date and like secure. So I will. That is the one type of dependency that I will not balk at adding. So good job, you picked the right one.
I just realized I gotta fork this. Unless you want to add me to the org, but I don't think you do. So let me go ahead and.
I'm not totally opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm happy to help if you want. If you want to, at least for today, if you want, it'll be easier. It'll save us some.
Cool. Legend inspiration.
Yeah, cool.
I totally agree, Fuzzy. He is really like there's almost no one on his level, I would say.
Oh yeah, he's like got so many things. One of my favorite projects of his is Refine GitHub, and it's basically a browser extension, and basically what is it? Yeah, it basically enhances GitHub, and 99% of the time I have no idea if it's a GitHub feature that got added or if it's refined GitHub.
Okay, you should hop off the screen, and I just added you as a collaborator.
Cool. I'll just open that up in a separate window.
Oh, that's right. You can do the multi-window. Do you have you have multiple monitors? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I actually switched up to I had a 34-inch monitor before, and now I have a 28-inch monitor. I was on the. I'm assuming you know, like Jason Lengstorff has this TV show called the Web Dev Challenge, and I was on it recently, and well, recently-ish. It was like March 11th we recorded, cool. But they're sponsored by BenQ, so like BenQ gave me a monitor, and it's really nice. And like at first I was like, I don't know if a 28-inch monitor will be good for me because like I went from a 27-inch to a 34-inch like a few years ago, but it's just a really amazing monitor. It has a weird aspect ratio that you think is weird initially. It's 3:2, but after using it, it's just really good. So I have that, and then I just have
I've literally never had a monitor bigger than 16 inches. I've only ever worked on a laptop.
Cool. Why did I not get the invite yet? Hold on a sec. Let me refresh. I can just go. Actually, I can even just go to GitHub if you sent it. It should show up in notifications. Yeah, there we go.
I just added, your GitHub account. I didn't put in an email or anything like that.
Cool. All right, so I'm just going to create a new branch. So we'll just add spinner. Get new branch. How is that not a new? Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's my bad. It's my alias. I've been between different machines. Cool.
What's this so here, we got Fuzzy. He shared one of his repos. You can keep going. He can explain that in the comments. I'm gonna go off screen just for a second, but I'll be watching. Keep going.
Yeah, go for it. I'm just seeing what Fuzzy said. Okay, cool. So we got a new branch here. So let's just push it up. So PSU. I have some aliases. Cool, that's good. So we should have that up here now. Yeah, okay, there we go. Cool. Nice. All right. So basically we want to install Aura. So actually, let me check what Anthony's using. Okay, he's just using npm. That's good. Okay, added the Aura package. Cool. 3 files. Oh, whoops! I don't want all those files. There's the script soft head. There we go. Hold on a sec. We don't need the setup in there, so let's push that now. G. Cool. All right, let's just push that up. Okay, so that's the Aura package now.
Okay, and Fuzzy's saying it's to help with custom error creation if we're needing it.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm trying to remember where this was. So download audio. Okay, so let's download audio.
Well, so there's going to be a couple moments where it's going to be hanging. It would be good to have a spinner. This would be both when it's downloading audio and also when it's actually running the transcription, because that's the part that usually takes the longest. And then also when it's actually running the LLM. So those would be the 3 times where it's doing that.
Yeah, so this one, all right, download audio. Let's go to definition. Okay, that's that all happening. So we probably want to do it back in here. Is this called anywhere else?
So it's called, it's called anytime you're doing either for file or video or RSS. And then the video or file will be like the video one runs as inside of like a playlist. So if you run on playlist or channel, then so I would say we should put it in video and file and RSS.
Okay, cool. I'm just slightly vibe coding here because I don't remember the syntax, but here, okay, we can already see it.
This is cool. I'll get to see how Windsurf works also.
Cool. All right, so added it. There we go. Cannot find name Aura. That's right. We need to import it. So let's just do that. Okay. Import Aura from Aura. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so essentially, we're not converting to Wave. It's downloading.
So you're right now because you're in the file.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so file, it takes a local file from your machine, so it converts it to Wave. If it's downloading it, that would be the video.ts file.
Gotcha. So basically, it's pretty simple what's happening here. So you're going to give the spinner a message, and that's what will appear to the right of the spinner. You start it, you do whatever tasks you're doing, and then you just literally stop the spinner. So if we take a peek, I think it did it for all of them, or I have to, okay, accept all. There we go. So we'll just give that a second, and let me close this, and there. Okay, let's see what it did. File TS. Okay, let me get some real estate back here so we can see what it's doing. So yeah, in here, it's just doing converting to Wave, and then where was the other one? Download. So if we come in here, did it add Aura? No. What did it add there? Okay, I did add it.
Import it there. It doesn't really need to be imported there if it's not. Actually, no. Scroll down. There's some green in this file.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
okay. Yeah, this actually, it probably makes more sense for it to just be added to the download audio, so we don't need to add it in 3 places otherwise.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. It was more just I didn't know if you wanted to tightly couple it into that or not. But
no, that makes more sense because just to as reminders, the way that the whole AutoShow flow works is there's 5 steps. There's the generate markdown step, where it just
Yeah.
grabs the metadata. There's the download audio step, which either downloads a file and converts it to WAV, or takes a local file and converts it to WAV. And then there's the run transcription, run LLM, and then or select prompt and then run LLM. So those are the 5 steps that run, whether it's a video, a file, or an RSS feed. And so,
Okay.
as you saw, the download audio, it's like a utility function that's used multiple times. So
Okay.
it makes more sense to put the spinner in download audio, so it's just in one place.
Yeah,
because
all
it's
good.
going to be
Okay, so let's go to download. Okay, there we go. Audio. Boom. Go to definition. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the process file. So this is where the function is being used. So I think it makes, if you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the download audio, and all of the process steps are in their own folder called process steps. And they're each prefixed with a number. So it's prefixed with 02 dash because it's the second process step out of the 5.
Okay, so let's import this. Cool. And then once we're done here, do you want it to, I guess, do you want it to do the whole try catch thing and then do the aura stop, or?
I don't know, because I don't know how this.
Well, it's essentially like visually, it'll start the spinner. It'll say downloading audio. We can set this also as a default message, because, like you said in the other one, it would be converting audio. One's downloading and one's converting.
I would just say you can say I'm creating WAV file.
Okay.
Because then that would encompass both, whether it's downloading it or it's converting a file that already exists.
Or how about, if you ever change it in the future, how about just processing audio?
Processing, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, right now it's always going to be a WAV because that's what Whisper CPP relies on. But yeah, future proofing is definitely good. Processing the audio, it's always going to be doing that.
All right. So yeah, so we can, like, what I meant was, like, we can do, actually, I'm just going to call this spinner. We don't need to, the implementation doesn't matter of the name. So, so we can do it like right here, or what I was asking was, like, do you want it to do all the rest of this stuff? And then I guess it makes sense to stop it right away, because if other stuff fails, the spinner's just going to stay there.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I guess let's test this out. What I can do,
we should test it on a video, or the -s video flag instead of the file flag. You should pick something that's long, because I have some examples here, but you should grab one of your videos that's like at least 10 minutes long, because then it will be long enough that we'll actually see the spinner run.
Yeah. Okay. Just one. Well, I guess I can just grab one of the large. I have a pretty good bandwidth, so it should.
Just grab one of your Premiere videos. You can even be like an hour-long one.
All right, let's do a Premiere. Sure. Cool. Let's grab the one I did with Chad Whitaker from Century.
Dude, I loved this interview, by the way.
Oh, that's right. You were in that one. It was really good.
Yeah, man. Okay, that dude knows his crap for sure.
Okay, so I don't know off the top of my head the flags here, so I'm going to paste the video. I know it's got to be in quotes.
So it'll be AS -- space -- video.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it?
Should do it. Yep.
Okay, cool. So we should see a spinner here.
Yeah, so right here is where we would see the spinner. So
it didn't show.
We see it. It's a little. It's
above
there it is. The step. Okay.
Okay. Why is it frozen though? And we could put a space, I guess, but I wonder. I wonder if the download audio thing froze it. Okay, let's stop that for a sec.
Yeah, there may be something blocking in there.
I'm gonna do a test here. I'm just gonna.
Sure. Yeah, this entire project was vibe coded, so anything can happen.
Okay, so I'm literally gonna comment out like the actual processing. I just want to see if the spinner goes.
Sure.
Okay, interesting. It's frozen regardless. Maybe there's a step I missed. Why don't we go check the docs? All right. Okay.
That's what I usually do if I'm trying to integrate a new thing. Is I'll dump the whole README into the LLM and when I'm trying to add it, and so I'll make sure it actually catches any sort of weird implementation details it may have.
Okay, so we got spinner, start it, and then set timeout. Sure. Changes. Okay, so this is just showing like different steps you could be doing, and it changes stuff. But why is it freezing? Interesting. Okay, let's see this. Chat Jupiter. All right. Let's do using the Aura package. The spinner doesn't spin.
And I would dump the whole download audio file in there
Yeah.
so it sees how you're using the code.
Yeah, 100. Because I did this actually, like when I opened that issue, I actually just tested it like before I created the issue. So let's see. I feel like it's going to say something is causing it to freeze, but oh, I'm starting and stopping it immediately. Oh, I know why.
You stopped it too soon.
Classic. No, that's not it. Where is it? Is this in a wait? It's because it's not awaiting it, so it's literally going this. I'm guessing log initial function call is that a promise?
Let's see.
No. Okay. Oh, maybe that's not the part.
You can just comment out that entirely if you want.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's not. It's starting and stopping immediately. So like, if we come back to here, download audio. Okay, I understand it. So like if for example, if I do this just as a proof of concept. Yes, there we go. Okay, so this will do, let's do like 5 seconds. And let's come back here. Now we're gonna see it spin. See?
Ah,
so
okay, explain what the hell just happened. I'm not following it all right now.
Okay, so let me, because this code is running synchronously, so we create the spinner, we start it, so it starts to do its thing. This l.step, I don't know what that does, but it's basically it's run immediately.
It's just a log function. The L is just console log. That's all it is.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's for coloring.
Okay, so it runs that. That's immediate. It does log initial function call. That happens right away. And then we just say spinner stop. So it's like the spinner never has a chance to actually finish. So we have to, I think what makes more sense is like the actual processing is here, right? It's like await access.
Yes. In the tribe block.
So we need to do it. We need to stop it there basically. So if we leave this here, so the spinner is going to start. So like just to show, if I stop this and do it again, I'm not stopping the spinner this time, but it starts. Nothing's stopping it from stopping right now. So so let's just stop the CLI. Does that make sense what I was saying?
Yeah, basically it wasn't being done in the right part of the code, essentially.
Yeah. So dash video. There we go. That one. Okay, cool. Oh, I didn't want to run it. Okay, so let's come back to the code. So we've started it. That's good. We just want to do a spinner.stop. So this is more for you. Where should we stop? There's getting access to it. We await. We rename it. This is probably where it is. We have to wait till there's a spinner.succeed. So I don't know if I added that or is that
might have been when served.
Yeah. So here we see it's trying to say do the set timeout, but I don't need the set timeout. I just want spinner
request animation frame.
Oh, but we're not in web dev. We're I don't know. I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not.
We're in Node world.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's gonna do it, and then
someone's asking
stop.
What we're working on right now. Continue, and then I'll fill them in.
Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna run it now, and we should see a spinner kick in now, and I'll just mention it. Okay, so we see it processing the audio. So it's literally processing the audio, And then once it actually finishes doing the audio, it should stop the spinner, and then it'll say, I forget what we wrote, audio succeeded, audio downloaded successfully there. So I'll let you go ahead and explain what AutoShow is to the person asking.
Yeah, so for anyone who just showed up, AutoShow is a tool for content repurposing. It takes audio and video files, transcribes them, and then feeds in a prompt with the transcription to an LLM to create things like chapter titles or summaries, or you can even create rap songs. You can do anything you want in terms of, feeding it in. And then Nikki T right now is helping me beef up the CLI and make the DX a little bit better with things like loading spinners and stuff like that.
Yeah. So this worked, but it's
so
not
Fuzzy,
great.
this whole thing is a Node CLI. So this is all basically a backend project running on your own machine. This is why I decoupled out the CLI. There's no front end here. There's no React. Everything is just like a TypeScript backend essentially that runs with Commander, if you're familiar with that project.
Yeah, gotcha. So this does work, but this isn't good UX still. So it says processing it, and then we get all this. I think what we should do is update the text as we hit the different steps. So like, for example, like you can still log. Well, actually, is the log here for actual logs or just for visual?
It's just in the terminal where you're running the CLI.
Okay.
Basically.
So
There's
I think
no real logging because it's not being deployed anywhere. It's just for
Okay.
the user as they're using the CLI.
Gotcha. So I think what we should do is instead we update the spinner text. So I don't think we could actually start off with this. Step 2, download audio. So the spinner is going to start with that. Log initial function call, whatever that is. What outputs like the this whole piece here?
So that was the logging utility function you were looking at.
Oh, okay. So it outputted that. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so
Yeah, so where it says log initial function call, so it says download audio and then options input file name. So those are all the things that it's spitting out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may this is pretty old code that I may end up refactoring at some point, but this just it lets you know kind of what's being fed into each of the process steps, so you can kind of track along as it's going. If you want to make sure the right YouTube URL is being fed and the right file name is being created, that's essentially what this is for, just to track what's happening in the CLI as it's doing the 5 process steps.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So so we could do this. I'll just show you, like, this isn't necessarily what you have to do, but so we could do, I'm just gonna comment out stuff for now, but then we can do like spinner.info existing file found.
Yeah, that would make more sense if all the logging is kind of going through the spinner, because then it's like people will know when it's hanging versus when it's just processing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think that's
No,
it.
this is
Okay,
cool.
so,
This is going to be a huge improvement in the DX, so I'm glad we're doing this.
okay, so let's try this again. I might not have it perfect yet, but okay, so the generate markdown. Okay, so see here it says downloading audio.
Great. That is perfect. Yeah.
So now it didn't blurt out that whole chunk there, but I put it before it, like download audio with the following arguments before. And then
awesome.
And then basically the spinner turned into audio downloaded successfully eventually.
Cool. So can we do that same thing for the run transcription step?
Yeah, I think so. So for this, it's more like just to see, are you okay with getting rid of that?
Yep.
Because it's outputting? Okay.
Yep.
Cool. The only thing I wonder is if those things go by too fast, but maybe that's not a big deal. Await rename, that's good. Await. Okay, so okay, well, we could even do a spinner here. So we'd say like, well, we'll leave it for now. We can talk about it in the PR maybe. So let's just do this. So clear. Let's do git add. Actually, we don't want the setup for the Turbo 3 there. And we're going to say git feature, and we'll say added spinner to audio download. Cool. Let's push that. And you said where else did you want to do it?
So in the transcription part. So if you just run the command and let the whole thing go through, and then I'll show you in the logs what I'm talking about. So just do one time through the whole process.
Okay, cool. Let's bring this up here.
Yeah, so there's the down. So if you start at the very top, actually, so scroll up to the very top, but let's just walk through each of these. So there's step 1, which is generate markdown. That happens so quickly, we don't really need a spinner there because that's going to take like literally less than a second.
Okay.
And then you have the download audio, which is the one that we just added the spinner to. And then step 3 is run transcription. And this is the one that usually takes the longest because it's actually running Whisper CPP. So scroll down just a little bit further. So where it says invoking Whisper, you see here it's still running. So this is where we would want the spinner, is exactly at this point where it's processing right now.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think what you could do is, like, for debugging purposes, you could output the options like you have currently, but like once it's productized, or maybe have it actually, we can make it look different. We could do and this is
you like add like a verbose flag.
Yeah, but we don't have to worry about that for now. But
yeah, that's something that's been in the back of my mind. Yeah.
Okay, here. Okay, that's in logging, so it's really
so
run.
Just go to just run transcription. It'll be prefixed with three dash run transcription, just like the download audio. Cool. Yeah, the code is pretty similar for each of these, so you'll see it's a similar setup to what you just saw.
Okay, there we go. Spinner not imported. Let's import it. Cool. And so the thing here with Windsurf is I'm going to tab, and then I'm going to go down. It might look elsewhere. So here, and then it's going to get there. Is that correct? Succeed, or is that info?
It should just say transcription completed successfully, because it may not always. Well, actually, hold on. No, this is not what you want, because this is only happening within the deepgram transcription. So there's a switch case where it picks either deepgram assembly or Whisper. We want it to be outside of that, so we don't have to do it 3 times.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool. So let's do that. I'll leave the existing logging there, but that's something. Actually, no, we don't need that here, because it, like you said, it's going to say it.
Yeah, so delete that from assembly and Whisper then.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. And here, cool, default, that'll throw. That's fine. So, okay, cool. There we go. You see, and Windsurf knew to take out the deepgram from what I pasted because it knew it was more generic. So, okay, so
pretty sweet. I might have to try Windsurf out.
Yeah, there's I can ask. There's somebody I know. I got like a 3-month free subscription. I can probably hook you up. Okay, so let's run this. I would
never say no to free stuff.
Okay, so Markdown is super fast, like you said. Okay, downloading audio. It's kicking in. And we'll just give that a second. Yeah, okay, so running
now it's running. Yeah, now we're talking. That's sweet.
Yeah. So like the other stuff you have here, like the video, Whisper, all that stuff, like I think it's good to output maybe if you with a verbose flag, but that can be like a separate thing. I mean, as a dev, it's useful to me, but unless it's broken, I probably don't care.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, there's also I've started to standardize the logging, because what I've realized is that when I did this a couple times as I've like refactored and had new logging, but what at a certain point like Claude and ChatGPT started doing is they actually started doing correct logging, where it gives you like the name of like the function it's running in, where it's like in brackets, it'll be like, the run transcription stuff, and then it'll give you the logging. So it's kind of just like straight lines, because I did it in a way where it kind of formats in a way where it's easier to read, but I think it's better to do more of a standard logging thing where it's just like a line and it gives you the information you want, and then it tells you on that
Yeah.
line where that code is running. I think that's more kind of standard how it's supposed to be logged. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think that sounds better. And also with the spinner, like right now, because we have these pieces of like extra logging in here, like essentially it could be the same spinner instance, you know what I mean? So we do spinners, text is download audio, and then we get to the next one, which is a transcription. So it's using the same one, because like then unless you're doing the verbose mode, you just basically have the
One
CLI kind of,
spinner that's kind of being updated. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But we can start off with just this if you want. So okay, so let's just check the changes. So essentially, did I go in the right file? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so essentially importing it, got rid of the L step, started the transcription, got rid of the deep gram, assemble and whisper completed, and then we just added the succeed, and there we go. Cool. I think that's it. Let's see here. Anything else they say about the spinner?
Yeah, so
I think that's it.
README. So
okay, cool. So let's do clear. Let's do. I just got to add the one file, so let's do that one. Cool.
Do you have to did you add it to the package.json?
Yeah, I did that before.
Great. Cool.
So now we just want to do G feature. Added spinner to transcription processing. And this is the kind of thing, like if I was doing this for a feature, like here's my log right now. So I did add the Aura package, feature add spinner to audio download. I'd probably just, it's going to get squashed, I'm assuming, on in the PR, but I would just basically add spinner for improved DX. But like I might have made that just one.
That's fine. I'm not super hung up on Git flows and all that, you know.
Yeah, cool. So, all right, so let's go ahead and create a PR. All right, we want to go there. That's right.
Yeah, and since I added you to the repo, you might be able to just merge it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind getting an approval, but yeah. So feature add spinner for better CLI UX. Cool. Body. We can submit as draft. Just come up here. Oh, wow. I get the honors of being the first pull request.
Yeah, I mean, I literally just created this repo like a day ago, and someone actually had just opened another issue on the AutoShow repo because I was trying out the node type stripping, but you have to be on node v22 and they were on node 20. So
yeah,
I've kind of reverted back to just using TSX. I think that's for now. That's probably the better solution.
Yeah, I'm on my GitHub Copilot extension template. I have node 22 with the experimental flag. It's just nice, and node 24 actually I just saw it was released today, I think.
Oh, really?
So I believe it's no longer experimental.
Right. Yeah, because you had to be on 22 for that, or maybe 23. I forget.
All right.
That's cool. Yeah, I used to never be one to be on the latest of the nodes, but as they've been adding more dope features, I've kind of started using newer and newer node versions because I don't know. I really like where Node is going to where it's more like Bun, where you don't need to rely on dependencies. Like you don't even need a dependency for like SQLite anymore, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. No, totally. All right. I'm going to just give us a nice little, let's run this again. And I'm just going to do a quick screen recording. I like to
that's great.
Add these things just so this is something I think is important because not everybody, like, what I did and stuff, and like maybe people watching the stream, but like somebody that just happens to check the repo, they might have no context, you know what I mean? So
So Fuzzy is saying there's 3 node versions of Note: 12, 18, and 22. You're gonna have to expand on that a bit.
All right, I'll just let this record.
I thought 20 was a pretty big one, because 20 is what let me no longer need .env. That was the biggest one for me.
Yeah, I still use .env. I haven't gone. I know you can pass it in. I haven't switched some of my stuff to that yet.
Yeah, I've stopped using .env for everything, except I couldn't get the MCP server to work without using .env. It was so weird.
Okay, is that with the MCP SDK or?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. There we go. Oh. All right, cool. Let's trim that and then just copy this in. All right, cool.
By the way, Chris Burns just texted me saying, you gotta look at the C15C CLI. This is his new company he's building, which is based around like cookie consent forms. And he's like, you should look at our CLI. I think I've already solved some of the things you're trying to do. So he's watching the stream.
Okay. Cool. So I put you up as a reviewer. I also added Copilot because I'm curious what the Copilot review is going to say.
Oh, interesting. Actually, I haven't added. I need to add this to all my repos. I built a whole flow where you get an AI code review on every PR. I built this whole thing out, but I haven't added it to my repos yet. But it's pretty sweet. It basically looks at the changes and then explains in English language what the change is, and then any like security implications and code implications and things like that.
Okay, is that CodeRabbit?
It's literally just using the AI SDK tool calling, and it basically just throws you your 2 Git commits and just like compares one to the other. So it's kind of just all custom code in like a node script, really.
Okay,
we could do another stream on that because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the Copilot actually gave, because I'm not super familiar with this, it actually provided some good feedback. So nice. I don't need to explicitly do spinner.stop because spinner.succeed will implicitly stop it. And the other thing is, because we were doing the happy path, it'd be good to add a spinner.fail if something goes wrong. So which is true. So I'll do those quick changes. I don't think AI is going to fix everything, but this is actually useful. Like this is something.
So AI code review is a hugely useful use case that I think more people need to lean into.
Like obviously, like there can be some like false positives, but you know what? I'm gonna give this W to Copilot. Here you go. I will commit your suggestion. Cool. Let me come back here. Clear G pull.
All right, cool. I'm gonna get Chris on my next stream so he can show me his sweet new CLI.
Okay. So I'm gonna look for the spinner.succeed. We have it in 2 places, I imagine. Yeah. So let's just go and see where it would fail. So here, so catch. So we'll do yeah, exactly. Spinner.fail. Good. And then here, this one's a little harder, I think, because you don't have I think if things go sideways, or do you have a catch? Oh yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah, all of these are pretty standard try catches.
Okay, cool. So there we go. Clear, GA, GCI, added.
So Fuzzy is saying here that node 22 is quality of life. Node 18 was reserved for effing AWS Lambdas. And 12 was when Mateo started making it awesome. 12 is before my time. I didn't start coding until like node 16 or something. So
okay. Is there any? Oh, I accidentally committed something, I think. Here, hold on a sec. Okay, that's good. Let's push that up. Yeah, I did add. I accidentally. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, I must have I undid it before. Yeah, the V3 turbo. So everything's in there now. So now,
cool.
Yeah, so essentially we got the 2 dependencies. It should have updated. Yeah, the package lock. Sorry, 1 dependency. Package lock's updated. We import Aura. We've got spinner info, spinner succeed, fail. Same thing here. Spinner, where is it? Succeed, and then also fail. So if you want to go ahead and give a stamp on that, if you're cool with it.
Yeah, this all looks good to me.
Oh, I have it as a draft. Sorry, let me.
Yeah, I make it a actual PR.
Ready for review. Cool. Cool. All right. Yeah.
Let's merge this sucker. Confirm merge. All right, you were officially the first contributor to the AutoShow CLI.
Nice. Oh, you didn't approve it.
What? Yeah, I did.
Did you? Oh, okay. It doesn't.
No, I
look
merged
like...
it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, what I mean is you didn't approve the PR before you merged it.
What does that mean? I thought merging is approving. What's the difference?
Oh no! Well, usually you approve and like you can merge, but you, I can't approve my own one. But anyways, I'll get. Actually, I'll put a comment that.
So complicated, man.
Here, let's just put here. Why did I go to the wrong? CLI. Yeah, you see, because you didn't approve it, it's not merged. It's just closed. It doesn't matter.
I literally clicked a button that said merge. That's so
no, like you'll always be able to merge. It's more. It's just if you wanted to approve it. So closes.
Yeah, no, I never knew that there was a distinction between merging and approving. So you just taught me something right there.
Cool. Let's go to there and implemented in not there. AutoShow.
See, if I revert the merge, can I approve it and then merge it?
You probably could, but you can approve it after the fact, I think, too.
No, let's give it a try. So no, I don't think that's actually what I want to do. Now it's opening a pull request for me.
Oh no, yeah. I would just leave it. It's
we have to explain to me the difference between merging and approving next stream.
Cool. All right, so that's in. I don't know if we'll have time to do the other thing, but what were we talking about for the?
We wanted create the new prompt that you wanted to write. This should be very simple. Actually, just look at the prompt file.
Okay.
It's just some text for you to add. It's very, very simple.
Okay, so feature, add a prompt for, did you call it key moments?
Key moments, yeah.
For extracting key moments. All right. In a video, do you do just audio as well?
It can do video or audio. It doesn't really matter.
Cool. There we go.
Cool. So if you look in the SRC folder, there's a folder called prompts with a single file called sections.ts. That's where all of the prompts for AutoShow are. So we just need to add another prompt with whatever prompt you've been feeding to ChatGPT for what you've been doing.
Okay. New key moments. Cool. All right. There, and I'll take a peek at what my prompts have been.
Yeah, you can literally just copy paste what you've already been using straight into the prompts.
Yeah, here, I'll open it on the side window. One sec here. Where are you at? There, cool. I think I did this in Claude. I was using, I'm still using Claude because we have a remote MCP server at work that's connected to the Claude integrations, but
I've been using Claude more recently. Claude 3.7 with extended thinking, I've gotten a lot of use out of because it gives faster outputs than because I was originally using O1 Pro for a while, and then O3 came out, and I found like O1 Pro and O3 sometimes one worked better than the other, but O1 Pro is so slow that it really like cuts into your dev time. So I've been trying to move away from that. So I've been trying out 3.0, extended thinking, and also Gemini 2.5. So yeah, it's really hard to figure out which LLM is the best these days because they're all constantly putting out new ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm a big fan of Claude, but I started using ChatGPT a lot more. They have projects now.
Yeah, we got a new chat viewer
Here
in
we go.
here saying, "I love Claude. I swapped from GPT after 6 years. It's a long time. Claude code is still iffy and royally botched some refactors I tried to run through it this weekend. Yeah, I tried Claude code out once. I don't know. It didn't really fit my workflow personally.
Okay.
And thanks for joining, by the way. Violated sign.
Oh,
Just give you a quick.
Violated
You know,
signs somebody I know.
Oh, word. Yeah. So we're looking at my project called AutoShow, which is a content repurposing app that takes video and audio files and transcribes them and feeds them to different LLMs with different prompts. So right now, Nikki T is adding a new prompt called Key Moments. When the prompt he's adding is find maximum 60-second snippet that is really good in this transcription so I can generate a YouTube short in the video. So yeah, this is I talked to Alex from Coding Cat about this. Actually, he had a similar kind of use case he wanted to add, which is like he wanted to create like YouTube shorts. So because when I first started building this, I was looking at more of clips, like a 5 to 10 minute kind of clip, like when you watch a show like Lex Friedman. He has this podcast. He'll do like a 3-hour long podcast, and then he'll have a Lex Clips channel that lets you do different like 5 to 10 kind of minute clips, but shorts are different from clips. And so ChatGPT came out in November 2022, but GPT itself came out 2018 or 2019, I think. Actually, I wrote a blog post about GPT-2 in 2019, so I know that that's at least 6 years old. So yeah, ChatGPT itself is not 6 years old, but GPT is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. ChatGPT came on my radar, well, with the 3.5 GPT, but like prior to that,
3.5 GPT was the underlying model of ChatGPT when ChatGPT was released.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Like I was working at an AI startup in 2017 with conversational AI. I was building chatbots.
What company was that?
It got acquired, but it's called Automat. It got acquired by a company called Salesfloor, SALESFLOOR. But basically, this was back when it was specifically Facebook Messenger chatbots. But you basically, we had researchers on the team and stuff. Like there was no like Chat GPT. There was no models or anything like models like we have right now. So, but
Hugging Face was probably around by that point, but it would have been really early.
Yeah. So like the kind of things we were doing, I was working on front end there, but like also had to work with the research team. And so like we had to craft the prompts, and like Facebook had a specific API, and we had like a Haskell backend, I think. But basically like one of the big clients at the time was L'Oreal, the not pharmaceutical, the cosmetics company. And so like it was basically asking questions like skincare routine. and then it'd be like, and then basically based on what you selected, so like, oh, my skin's dry, like all of a sudden it knows to propose stuff for non-oily skin and stuff. So
this is cool. So Violated Science thing. I was quick on the AI stuff. I was just getting back into coding after about 5 years of doing nothing, and I credit it to basically my entire career change and everything I'm able to do now. I'd be swinging hammers and cutting boards if it wasn't for AI. Now I feel that I'd still be freaking teaching 12-year-olds to play G, C, and D chords on guitar if it wasn't for coding.
Cool, man. Yeah. So I'm assuming it's in the select prompts.
No, sorry. So select prompts is the logic that grabs the prompt. So you just want the prompts. There's a prompts there's a prompts directory with a sections.ts. So look up sections.ts. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Then cool. Fuzzy's saying, folks would look back at this moment in time and go, but they had Terminator in the 80s. Did they not learn?
Yeah. Give me your clothes.
Yeah, and we had the Matrix in the 90s. Every decade has their AI.
we even had MCPs in the 80s. If you ever seen the original Tron master control program. So
yeah.
And anyways, I'm dating myself.
So you see here, every prompt has an instruction where you tell it in English language what you want, and then an example where you actually write out what the output should be.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so let's go to the end here. Country song, is that?
Yeah, so there's a country song, rap song. So look at key takeaways, actually. Okay. Let's see where that one is.
Okay.
Or just takeaways, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, takeaways. So that include 3 takeaways listeners should get from the episode, and then an example. So
okay.
Really, any of these you can just kind of copy paste and rewrite. Really, the main thing is there needs to be an instruction and an example. So the thing you dropped was basically an instruction.
Yeah.
And, while you're doing that, I got a whole bunch of comments to read here. So
yeah, go for it.
Was it more like select filter based on words then? I only saw better chatbots popping up when ChatGPT happened. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that ChatGPT obviously changed the game. Fuzzy here is also referencing Spielberg's film AI Artificial Intelligence. Fantastic, highly underrated film. Really, really love Spielberg's film AI Artificial Intelligence. That's with Haley Joel Osment as a kid. Love that movie. I watched that with my partner just like a year ago. Star Trek is why I bought into 3D printing immediately. I saw the chance to get a quote unquote replicator in my home and jumped at the chance. Yeah, I've never gotten into 3D printing. I really should. I don't have a use case right now, but it seems pretty fascinating. Being a 90s kid in the 2020s is an amazing feeling. Yeah, man, I'm a 90s kid. I think Nikki T is probably you're maybe an 80s kid, right?
Yeah, I was born in the 70s, so yes.
Late 70s though, right?
Yeah. Let's say, yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely an 80s kid then. Matrix was 99 because the trilogies came out a decade after. It's definitely a naughties movie. Yeah, that's probably true. Like, I just watched Bring It On with my partner yesterday. That movie came out in 2000, but it's definitely like a 90s movie. Trekkie.
All right, so I'm being lazy here, just doing vibe coding. I put in my actual prompt I used in ChatGPT, and I'm gonna see if it's gonna do it. So, okay, it didn't insert it, but let's try this. So, identify a compelling 60-second segment from the transcription that captures the essence of the content.
And I don't know if make sure the example includes a timestamp in it.
Yeah. Do we want to just start off with one?
What we do 3. Okay. 3 would be a good one to start with.
Okay, from the transcript. Okay. I don't think it can focus on moments of high engagement unless it means the conversation.
Yeah, you can cut that out.
Yeah. Focus on here. Let's just do focus on clear messaging. I don't know about emotional impact either. ensure that the selected snippet highlights the selected snippets, not snippet, highlights 3 key takeaways for the viewer. Okay. And then I'm going to, let's see here. Let's see what it does. That's not going to work. Cool. Hold on a sec. Okay, that's all in a text block, is it? Oh yeah, yeah. Cool.
It's just a JSON object with 2 fields, instructions and example, and then each are just like a string template.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the existing ones that are here are probably fine. Well, but like you said, timestamps.
Yeah, I would say you should take the output of one you've actually run and use that as an example.
Okay, I don't know if I still have it, but let's take a peek. Let's just open up another windsurf. AutoShow. I should have a content folder still. Yeah. Okay. So here, so this is the one. I don't remember where I took it though. Let's see here. Funding and open source. Oh, gift. Really? It doesn't have the word gift in there? Economy. Really? Am I looking at the wrong? Oh, maybe I was in the wrong thing. There we go. Okay. So let's just say, let me unpack this. Okay. So market. Okay. So let's do, and we've got a market economy. So 24, it's not necessarily going to be the whole thing, but 24.46 to 25.43. Let's just, or 40. Let's just go with that. Come over here. So, for the episode, it has to include timestamps and the content of the moment. Sure. Okay, so let's just do one here. Then let's, I don't know. I'll just say, make up another one. That's good. Sure.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. It pulled out pieces of that other one. Okay, it's the same one, but you know what? Let me just grab a couple of.
You can just rewrite it to say 2 key moments. It's fine. We can rework it. Let's just get the NPV in there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And 2. Okay, so that's done. I just got to check work Slack. Hold on. Okay. Everything's good. Cool. All right. So let's.
Yeah. If you've got, oh, we just lost Nikki T. Oh no. Everyone in the chat, how you doing? What's up? It looks like we got Nikki T back.
Yeah, I accidentally closed the browser.
Yeah, that's good. How much more time do you have, by the way?
I can probably go maybe like another 15-20 minutes, but
okay, cool. We should only need another 10. I was gonna just say once we have the prompt written, we should just run it and then see what it outputs.
Yeah, well, we can try it now.
We can merge the PR. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I don't know if you want to just go ahead and share my screen again.
Yeah, you're sharing. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let me get you back without closing the window this time. Okay, so that's good. Highlight. Oh, wait. See, windsurf. No, I changed it to 2 there. It knew to switch it up there.
Could you just add a couple spaces before instruction?
Yeah. Before instruction.
Yeah. So the JSON is correct in terms of the formatting.
Oh yeah. Sorry, gotcha. Yeah. For some reason I thought I'm guessing you might not use Prettier because some of the text.
No, I don't have Prettier or ESLint at all. I've never been a big fan of either of them, honestly.
Okay.
I see the value obviously for moments like this, but just never gotten there. Maybe I'll do that after this.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. This one I'll leave the text because like it's
that's
just
fine. Yeah.
Cool. Let's close all that. Okay, let's close the sidebar. So how do I use this now? Like I've already generated, like I should have a content folder.
So in the docs, there's a prompts. So go to docs.
Okay.
Yeah, and then go to prompt options.
Okay. Let me just do preview. Oh, I don't have it installed on Windsurf yet.
That's fine. Let's just keep it here because you're going to want to write a new one anyway. So go to where it says takeaways.
Okay. Yeah.
That's in the outline. So go down to where that actually is.
Oh yeah, sorry. Why is it not doing that? Takeaway. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so just create a new one. So they all have -- prompts, and so it'll be whatever you wrote it, whatever the name was of the thing you just created.
Yeah.
Just delete all that. You just want the actual
like that.
Yeah, you kind of did that. Yeah, you kind of mess everything up there.
Okay, I like how you're so polite, like that. You're like, it's all messed up.
Yeah, so just copy. You don't want to copy paste the markdown, all that. You just want to add another. So just look at what you're looking at right here.
Yeah.
So you've got a couple different commands here. Yeah. That should be better. Yeah.
Okay. So this is RSS, but that's not what we want necessarily. Okay, that's an example.
Just change it to video, or actually video.
It could be video or audio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
prompt key moments. Okay.
And then change that to just look for any of the other -- videos in there and grab the URL that they're using.
Okay.
Get rid of the space after the -- Yes.
All right.
Okay, that's the only one in there, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, we can make up one. What's your live stream? Your AGC web dev, right?
There's a specific one that I use in the. If you go to the README, you should be able to find it.
Okay. Not read. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the README, the very first example command has a video URL you can use.
Okay. No, that's the image.
Yeah, keep scrolling. There you go. Yeah, grab that one.
Cool.
Replicator sounds like a great way to look at 3D printers. For me, 3D printing is about hardware, and I've never been good at working with hardware directly. Yeah, I've never done any hardware work at all.
Okay, so that's good. So I just want to add key moments to my.
Yeah, so just try running that command to see what happens.
Okay, let me get my video there. Okay.
Yeah, sweet. And what this will do is this will just output the file that you'll need to then feed to an LLM. So once it outputs the final thing. And how long is this video again?
It's
actually
no, the video's already downloaded.
I'm just thinking about how long the transcription is going to take since it
was pretty quick before.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's not using V3, so it should run really quickly.
I'm on.
That's going.
My work computer is a MacBook Pro M4, so it's like it's got some juice to it.
Yeah. Have you ever used a 3D printer?
I have not used one myself, but when I worked at Autodesk, they had all kinds of them there, and people were like printing like huge Star Wars things and all kinds of stuff. And like I don't think they had to pay for it. So
That's
there was like
sweet.
a lot of cool stuff there. I mean,
what is Autodesk? I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
It's an engineering firm, but they do all kinds of things. They do like the software 3D Studio Max, AutoCAD. That's not stuff I worked on. I worked on project management software for video game and movie industry. So like they had like lots of big clients like Netflix and like Disney and so on.
Nice.
But they do a lot of engineering stuff. And yeah, I guess they must have a 3D printer branch of the company, because there was like an insane amount of 3D printers there, which is not something you'd normally put in an office, I don't think.
Yeah. So we
Okay,
got
so it finished here.
Okay, really quick, let me just read this out and then we can look
Yeah.
at it. So I was lucky to go to a small rural school, so I had 3 years of CAD in middle school. That's crazy. And
That's
4 years of
impressive.
AutoCAD in high school. Man, your school is way better than mine. I use
Yeah.
Bamboo Labs P1P because it's cheap and they work great. I can make anything I need in Fusion 360 and then print out within a day or so, depending on how large it is. Super nice to be able to print Raspberry Pi cases or wall holders or anything else. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of terms in there I don't understand, but I think I got the gist.
All right, so this ran, but I don't see. Oh, it's under examples. Okay, is that it?
No,
Example.
it's in content. It says right there, funding. Click one of those
Okay,
two.
okay, but that's the full transcript.
So scroll scroll back to the top. Is the prompt not written in there? So scroll a little bit down. There's a transcript timestamp. Scroll below that for the like so. Interesting. We may
Let's
have
see.
borked something along the way.
Yeah, there's no key moments in here, so let's just double check what we did, because you know better than me, obviously. Okay, so what's the difference here? Okay, oh
That's just adding white space. That's all fine.
yeah. Okay, let's come down here. So key moments, is it in the right section? So
Yeah, that should be fine. It looks like you've modified 2 files. Did you modify look at where you modified the other file. So
that's just the
prompt
README.
options.
Yeah.
This is the README. Okay.
So key moments. Whoops, that's the wrong file here.
And
So
you're
we come
sure
back
that
here.
the thing you called it was key moments? Yeah. Okay.
Should be.
It has instructions as example.
Prompt key moments. That should be it.
Looks like it should be fine. And it has instruction, then has example below instruction.
Yeah.
And then go to the very bottom of it. Okay. It should all be fine. We might need to do a little debugging, and we're already going pretty long here, so we can probably call it here.
Yeah, we can look at this after.
Yeah, we're basically where we should be. We're just hitting some weird bug, but yeah, we can figure this out off stream. But yeah, I think there's a ton of stuff we just did, so that was super great. So yeah, we'll get that fixed up, and then
yeah,
that way you'll have your own custom prompt that you could use. But yeah, any thoughts based on what we just did?
Yeah, well, the update to the UX, I think, is really good, because like I said before, I mean, I know it's working now that because I debugged through it, but
Yeah.
I think for anybody that pulls this down, they'll be like, okay, it's doing something now, as opposed to the usual, like, is it frozen or is it just still processing kind of thing?
Yeah,
So
having a spinner is pretty important for that, for
yeah,
sure.
so I think that's a nice little quality of life improvement. And once this is in, this will be helpful for me too, because then I'm no longer, generating a transcript, pasting it into ChatGPT or Claude, asking for 60 seconds. So I think getting the transcripts with those like key moments will be good. And then later on, like maybe we can do another stream where maybe we can do it so we can say like, get me 3 raw video key moments, because I'm sure you'll still need to edit it. Like I could see it being like, get me the key moment, but grab 10 seconds before, 10 seconds after or something, because sometimes when the video starts, it'll be like, blah, or something, like cut off. But that could be something to
really
refine.
honing in on the exact moment where you want something. That's the same thing with chapters,
Yeah.
like the way it works right now is, especially if you give it to like GPT, it tends to just kind of give you every 6 minutes, it gives you a new chapter. But like that's not really what you want. You want to actually know where the beginning of each chapter is. So figuring out where does this actual clip start that you want is something that you really have to finagle with the prompts.
Yeah.
Fuzzy saying,
And
great stream, you legends.
I love Fuzzy. Always supportive in the
Always
chat,
hype man. Yeah, Fuzzy's
Yeah.
my biggest hype man. He
Yeah.
shows up to every one of my streams.
Yeah. I could be like down in the dumps. Fuzzy be like, "You got this, man. You got this,
brah. You
Um,
got this, you cunt. You would probably say.
yeah, well, Scottish. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think the thing that'd be cool about this, because like I know you want to productize this at some point,
Yeah.
and I think what we're doing here right now in this feature that we're not finished yet is that would be something great for like give me my key moments, and then like in the productized version, there's probably some kind of editor where you can kind of slightly tweak, like it might not be a full-blown editor because that's like a lot of work and might not make sense.
Yeah, editing the show notes that it puts out is something that I have not done yet. It's in the back of my mind. It's something that will be pretty useful, but I don't know if I want to launch with that. I think it's going to be easier if I just launch with you just have a database with your show notes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I don't mean this for like the first thing, but like I could see that being a useful thing that people would pay for, which is like
some sort of rich text.
Give me
editor.
3 key moments. Let me slightly edit it. You know what I mean? Because like you could know where it is in the time, and then like you have access to FFmpeg. I'm sure there's like a crop feature or something. I don't know. I haven't really used FFmpeg, but that's later down the road.
Yeah, real quick before we close it off, you'd mentioned something about DaVinci and FFmpeg. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Oh, this is just something I shared with you the other day. I've never used DaVinci Resolve, but let me go find the
This
tweet.
came up on stream when I had Michael Chan on a long time ago. I was showing him AutoShow, and he was like, man, if I could hook this into my editor, that would be like really key. And he was also using DaVinci, and Violated Sign is saying here, I love DaVinci, best editor out there. So say thanks for the stream. I like the vibe here. That's cool, man.
Oh,
the
cool.
vibe is what it's all about. So thank you everyone who's been watching. It's super great to have an actual audience chatting in the chat. So thank you.
We should definitely
Violated Sign. Thank you, Nerif God F. Please tell me how to say your freaking name.
Here, I'll drop the tweet. This is from that is not the tweet. I don't even know what that number is. It just copied. That's the pin to my bank. No, that's not it. Here, hold on a sec. Copy text. There we go. So this is a tweet or post, whatever you want to call it. Oh, hey, Yarn. Yarn's from my virtual coffee. So this is from Matt Pocock, who is obviously pretty legendary in terms of TypeScript and all other kinds of stuff. And this tweet is just him. He has a short video about his process because he's pretty happy with it. And I just dropped it to you because of what you're working on. I've never used DaVinci Resolve myself, but he was just kind of explaining his workflow. So if people want to check that out, it was pretty interesting.
Awesome.
Cool. And I was going to say, if you want to do another one of these streams where we work on a feature or something, I think it's pretty doable, So
yeah, no, I think it's great. I'll be happy to do as many of these as you got time for.
Cool. No, it sounds good. I do have to hop off now, but thanks everybody in the chat, man. That was great combos.
Yeah, super fun. And we will catch you guys next time.
Later, everybody.